4-4 for the Sunrisers. They've registered, in the end, what looked like a comfortable win against Punjab Kings, but they have their big marquee overseas signings to thank. Aiden Markram and Nicholas Pooran have played sensibly, responsibly. They've made sure that the bowlers' work done in the first half isn't in vain, and they've taken the Sunrisers joint top of the IPL points table. They're level on points with Gujarat Titans, who will be in action in just under 15 minutes from now against CSK at Pune. But we will look back first at Punjab and Hyderabad with Ian Bishop and Sanjay Manjrekar on Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by IQ 9 5G. Thought at one stage, Sanjay, the wicket of Kane Williamson might just open the door. This may be an interesting game. In the end, the Sunrisers were the winners.
Yeah, I got a little worried because the pitch seemed like it was the driest that we've seen. And when that lofted shot of Tripathi ended up in the hands of long off, and you could see that the ball had just stopped in the pitch, and for once you saw a little bit of dryness. I thought with people like Pooran, Markram, and if the the bowlers took the pace off, things would be easy. But I guess Punjab paid the price for not having that extra spinner. I think at DY Patil, as we continue to see a lot of traffic on those pitches, afternoon games, teams will be compelled to have two genuine spinners.
Okay, we will come back to that point in a second. But they still had work to do when Nicholas Pooran joined Aiden Markram. Bish, and 75 not out of 50 is a fairly responsible partnership by both of them. We've used many words for Pooran in the past. Responsible in the IPL, perhaps a first?
No, come on.
Perhaps.
No, but in all seriousness, I was just going to break into some humor there, but I need to stop that. I'm not very good at it. Yeah, the Pooran Markram unbroken.
That would be rare footage for us.
The Pooran Markram partnerships is becoming a thing because this is the third time this season they've finished the game. Unbroken partnerships. And as I've stressed before, just a little bit of private information. I know from conversations with Pooran, for example, that not starting the innings, I think that has been a problem for him in the IPL last year. It was, but I think he got past that. To me, starting the innings isn't a big issue for him. It's finishing the innings and being there at the end. What has he gone now? 3 or 4 times this season now. He's not out at the end. So absolutely brilliant the way they're pacing an innings, the way they're finishing it off, getting the net run rate incrementally better, and winning all their games chasing. So when they do have to bat first, that's where we will get another glimpse into how much more dynamic they are with Rahul Tripathi in the form that he is and Markram playing as well as he is too.
I mean, it's this franchise that would be thinking last year, Pooran and Markram were supposed to finish games for us, and we were finding ways to lose from unlosable, if that is a word, situations. And today, as we look at it, Sanjay, Bish's point illustrated, they seem to have got this nice little partnership going where Pooran has played 30 balls, 35, he's not been tempted to hit big sixes, he's worked ones and twos. This bodes well, augurs well for the Sunrisers.
And we saw an earlier innings as well when he was 30 not out. See, he's got the shots, and why he's always been special to all of us, he's got shots against fast bowlers and spin as well. He's not one of those West Indian batters that the moment you get spin in, even on dry turning pitch, he's going to be all at sea. All we wanted from Nicholas Pooran is to be a little more consistent, more dependable. I dare say with Sunrisers Hyderabad, he's getting a little more time, more responsibility. If you remember when he was playing for Punjab Kings, the earlier half of the IPL in the UAE, he was getting an opportunity to bat, but very late in the innings. Because there was that Mayank Agarwal, KL Rahul occupation of most of the innings. And, it was a tough time in that particular season with Rahul and Mayank Agarwal opening for number 4, 5, 6. But that has changed. And I'm very happy to see some of the signs that we're seeing in this IPL. We're seeing some people completely change. The Kuldeep Yadav comeback. Pooran could be one. This kind of mature innings, staying not out till the end. That's why when Kane Williamson got out, I thought the guy who has the perfect temperament to chase down targets like this on a pitch that had something for the bowlers, I was worried. But Markram is coming to the occasion, which is a little more expected than Puran. Puran, the big story, the maturity and the consistency.
Right. Let's focus on that point Sanjay Manjrekar just brought up. Missing an extra spinner. Did Punjab miss a trick? They also missed their captain today. Wasn't an ideal day for them by any stretch.
Yeah, I think I was wrong at the beginning of the game when I said it won't hurt, Punjab too much with Mayank Agarwal not playing. I was wrong. I think, yes, it did. And afternoon game, slow pitches drying out. Harpreet Brar could have been an option they could have gone to. Clearly, they were crying out, even in commentary, that they must have a spinner in, even towards the end, to get wickets. But Liam Livingstone is not your spinner to get wickets. He's your go-to bowler in case a spinner has a bad day. So afternoon games, D.Y. Patil and maybe a few other venues that there's been a lot of matches, second spinner seems very necessary.
This now makes it 3 wins and 3 losses for the Punjab Kings. Bish, who seemed like a box office team to watch, mainly because of Liam Livingstone. But if you look at them after this game today, now, how much would you say, all right, tactical miss, could have had another spinner, and how much would you say the batting is just not quite coming together? Fair to say the decisive blow was dealt in the first half?
Yeah, the batting is for me, the batting is the bigger of the two concerns. They'll rectify that spin thing somewhere along the line. I agree with Sanjay. Mayank Agarwal and the way that he certainly in the last game anyway batted in the power play, getting them off to that flyer is such a significant thing for them. And we've got to start talking now about Johnny Bairstow. Where is Johnny Bairstow best suited? Because you've got a left-hander from Sri Lanka sitting on the bench there, Rajapaksa, who did nothing wrong until Johnny Bairstow came in. Johnny Bairstow's record in the IPL is in the mid-40s, opening the batting. He's struggling so far batting in that 3 position. So we've got to start shining the spotlight there. Maybe not change it just yet, but start observing it a little bit more closely.
I like that you brought that up because Sanjay Manjrekar is a big fan of Johnny Bairstow in the IPL, thinks this guy's going to win you some games. So now, shall we revisit that?
Again, I'd like to say that when you brought up the topic of Bhanukar Rajapaksa in place of Johnny Bairstow, after a couple of failures, I thought, not yet, although I love Bhanukar Rajapaksa. I saw him first in Sri Lanka. He is an exciting talent. He's had 4 innings, I think, in the IPL so far. 2 have been outstanding. So unfortunately, had to make way for Johnny Bairstow, the more seasoned player coming in. But here's the thing with Johnny Bairstow as well, Raunak. He's not a David Warner, where virtually every season, barring last one, David Warner has made an impact. He's one of your most consistent IPL batters. Johnny Bairstow's had seasons where he's looked really poor, short of runs. So these are the guys that you worry about. What if this is going to be one of those seasons again? So I'm with Bish, considering what Johnny Bairstow can do and consider the kind of pitches that we have. Afternoon surface maybe not ideal. 1 more innings, but Bhanukar Rajapaksa sitting there is going to be sort of a kind of a sword hanging over.
Is it just a like for like, or is it the other discussion too, Bish, that this team, Punjab, which want to go hard, somewhere more often than not now, are running out of gas? Shah Rukh Khan in the middle, Odain Smith batting at 7. Do they need to revisit a few things there? Maybe Rajapaksa comes in for Odain and they change the bowling up. Are you somewhere sensing that this go hard batting first approach, with the exception of Livingstone, is not working?
I wouldn't say it's not working. I have no problems with that style of player. I can't remember if it was you said it, that different people, or they said it on commentary, different teams approach T20 cricket in a different way. It's probably Harsha that said it. There's a different philosophy. They went into the auction with this philosophy of wanting to go hard. No problems with it. But little things in a cricket match, and more so the Punjab Kings should remember over the last few years, little things cause them to lose the balance of power, and momentum shifts, if you want to use that word momentum. That whole Shah Rukh Khan scenario at 15.3 overs stalled their progress so much, robbing Liam Livingstone. And who knows how significant that was to the loss? Who knows how significant this loss will be to their aspirations of a top 4? And they should know that, given the things that have happened to them over the last few seasons. Tidy it up, clean it up, but no problems with their philosophy in itself. Review it, see how you can do it better next time, and stay true to it.
Okay, that's a good point. I think let me rephrase that, because maybe the philosophy is sound, but do they have the right personnel? Just feel like Shah Rukh Khan at what's it, 6, and Jitesh Sharma at 5, and then Odain Smith at 7. Almost seems like everyone's batting a position too high. Now, do you expect more out of them, or will a specialist batter coming in allow for this philosophy to be more successful?
See, when we started off the game, we were looking at, we weren't aware of Mayank Agarwal. I mean, we came
Yes, of
to know,
course.
but Mayank Agarwal, Shikhar Dhawan, Johnny Best, or Liam Livingston looks a pretty good top four. And today was a rare scenario, I guess, for them, if you have to be a Punjab supporter, that in the first 8 or 9 overs, they lost 4 wickets. Then after that, suddenly you're looking at Liam Livingston as the one man to bail them out, at Shah Rukh Khan. That kind of responsibility may be too much. But if Mayank Agarwal is back and they don't have that kind of a slip, then these guys are playing the perfect role. But Odion Smith, if he's going to be a bowler that you'll depend on, then might as well go with a specialist. I think they've got Nathan Ellis there.
All right.
And
Maybe a longer conversation ahead of Punjab's next game. But before we move to the next one, let's just talk about the Sunrisers. We've spoken about their batting. Bowling's come good. Bish, are they dark horses? Are they a team now that you have to seriously consider looking at how all these pieces are coming together at the right time?
Well, are they dark horses? Everyone starts off the race in the race, right? We know Mumbai has slipped out a lot. CSK are on the brink. So we have to say everyone was in it. Now, we have to see more of Sunrisers Hyderabad setting a total because they've chased on every occasion so far. We'll know more information about that. And then, as the pitches start slowing down, how their spinners can back up the seam bowlers who've been excellent so far, because at some point, spin is going to come into it in a much bigger way. So I think we've seen a lovely component of Sunrisers Hyderabad, and you have to keep them in sight in the race. Now we need to see a little bit more before we can conclusively pronounce where they stand in the pantheon of this 2022 Tata IPL.
Sanjay.
I think we've got to start getting serious about Sunrisers Hyderabad, and let's not get swayed by this consecutive wins that they've had. Let's look at their team. Abhishek Sharma, you can't say that he's going to be a consistent top order danger play. He's had a couple of innings, but today we saw what kind of problems he'll face when it's not his night or the pitch is a little tricky. But somebody like Kane Williamson will be around, getting the odd 110, 120 strike rate innings. The great news for them is Tripathi. I think he is like one of the special batters in this whole of the IPL. Makram will carry his form. Puran will carry his form. So you've got some terrific players in the top 5 or 6. Shah Rukh, beg your pardon. Spin, I thought Suchit, the way he bowled today, and if Washington Sundar comes back, you have 2 pretty good spinners, and then you have the kind of bowling attack, the fast bowling attack that they have. So it's a team that is potentially going to keep winning matches. Because this doesn't look like a flash in the pan to me, because these guys are in form and you might expect them to hold on to that form for a while.
Okay, just as I wrap this up, it's a very clinical sort of game for the Sunrisers. Bish, if I have to ask you to pick the most decisive period of play, are you going to go back to Shah Rukh Khan and the fact that Sunrisers finished it well? There were a number of moments here. There's Bhuvaneshwar Kumar at the top. Where would you think? Would you go back to that period of play in the 15th over?
Nah, the 15.3 overs, because when you're 122 for 4, Liam Livingston going great guns, Shah Rukh was there at the time just soldiering on. That looked as though it could have been a 180, and that could have made a significant difference.
All right, fair enough. Let's move our attention to the evening fixture. The Chennai Super Kings have picked up their first points against RCB. Will we see them reset as well and start stringing some wins together like we've seen for the Sunrisers Hyderabad? In front of them, table toppers, Gujarat Titans, but without the most prominent Titan that they've had this season. Hardik Pandya misses out. Massive news. Didn't complete his final over in their last game, and now we believe there's some sort of trouble with his groin. So he misses out, and they've had to make a double swap. Alzari Joseph comes in for his first appearance, and Matthew Wade has to make way for Ridhiman Saha, we assume will partner Shubman Gill at the top of the order. The toss has gone the Titans' way, and it has gone Rashid Khan's way, who will be leading for the first time in this year's IPL. Let's get Sanjay Manjrekar's thoughts on that. Gee, Hardik Pandya not there. That's you can't. I'm not overstretching it by saying that's half the team missing.
I mean, the kind of form that he's been in, bowling his 4 overs, came in and bowled the 18th over despite the injury issue in the last, whether that has aggravated the problem, we don't know. But this is frustrating We're seeing the best of Hardik Pandya. We're seeing a mature Hardik Pandya batting superbly, striking the ball from ball number 1, then bowling his 4 overs. And every time he bowls in the IPL, you can see that he's more than just a part-time bowler. He could be a bankable 4-over bowler, and then injury, comes. So it's something, I've throughout my playing career as well, a guy who stays fit without injuries. You've got to mark that down as one of his skills, his features, his strength. I don't think injuries always are out of your control. Sometimes they are. But if somebody is going to break down periodically like this, unfortunately, you've got to always consider that as a little bit of, what should I say, not a negative, but a problem that you've got to deal with. Hardik Pandya, brilliant form, injury comes in again. It's just preventing him from being a phenomenal player. And you've had some all-rounders in the past who were able to take care of their fitness and play longer. So it's a little frustrating because I've been so excited watching him.
Yeah, I mean, there's only been good things for Hardik Pandya, and would you have expected him to have this big an impact? Yes, important player, but he's literally played the innings of his life last game. He's bowled 4 overs more often than not. Let's hope it's not a serious injury until we know more. They're saying it's just a niggle, is what Rashid Khan says at the toss. So if it is just a precautionary game or so, we will know. The changes that they've had to make, Bish, Alzari Joseph comes in, and they've had to swap Saha with Matthew Wade. Fair enough for the balance of the team? Do they cover bases at least?
Yeah, I hope so, because Alzari Joseph can give you some batting. Matthew Wade's form, I think we discussed Matthew Wade a few games ago, that Saha would have been an option to come in and bat at the top for him because he hadn't been scoring either. So it became a necessary change in the face of your leading run scorer in Hardik Pandya. And also he took 4 wickets so far this season, economy rate under 8. So I have to hope it works. I like the change.
All right. Super Kings, on the other hand, go unchanged for this one. So no changes from the team that beat RCB to pick up their first points. Now, Bish, from what you're seeing of the Super Kings, was that last game against RCB the kind of game that can get them going? Or did Dubey and Uthappa just, put some paper on top of the cracks?
Oh, they certainly covered over some shortcomings from the other batsmen in that lineup. Gaikwad still isn't getting runs, and Ambati Raidu runs and opportunity have evaded him. So it's been Uthappa and Dubey the show, and the seam bowlers need to be better. Chris Jordan needs to be better. Dwayne Bravo needs to be better. I'm not sure that they've got a seam bowler there who can blast anyone out in the way that a Lockie Ferguson or Umran Malik can do it in the middle overs. Tikshana and Jadeja were the 2 men there. So the seam bowlers need to lift.
CSK?
Yeah, we did that exercise of looking at the potential of the guys who are hitting a good run, whether they'll be able to carry their form. But you remain skeptical with people like, Uthappa, Shivam Dubey's played well. But will they be able to do that day in, day out? It's a long season. So people like Ruturaj Gaikwad need to come back into form. Ambati Raidu needs to get some runs. Moeen Ali more than the 20s and 30s. Bowling as well, as Bish mentioned, still searching for those seam bowlers who could make a mark. Deepak Chahar's loss is a big one for them. Yep. So, yeah. Tiksana could be a long-term option for them. Takes the pressure of Jadeja as a spinner. But other things are still, you can't say for sure, wow, this could be a resurgence of CSK after that last one.
Well, they won IPL titles without us going and saying wow through the season. That's just how they are. But let's see if they can at least inject some momentum to carry on from that win against RCB. Right. More from Ian Bishop, and Wasim Jaffer joins us at halftime too. Big thank you to Sanjay Manjrekar. We will see him again tomorrow. So join us for the innings break show. Once CSK have got some runs, let's see how many they get. Can they challenge the Gujarat Titans without their key captain, in-form player Hardik Pandya? It's a great opportunity to beat the Titans if you're playing them without Hardik. So we'll join you in 20 overs on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Echo 95G.